Good afternoon, everyone. Come on in, come on in. Hello, hello, hello. Awesome. You guys are amazing. I've been looking forward to this conversation all day. I've been thinking about a couple of things and I wanted to just check in. I'm going to be doing weekly check ins with you guys as leaders. As you come in, don't forget to comment, say hello in the comment section below. Say hello in the comment section below. Let me know where you're streaming from, where you're watching from. If you are a leader, tag another leader in this. If you're not a leader, tag a leader you know, whether in life or ministry, whether they're in the church work as a leader or if they're in the corporate America as a leader. I want to encourage them today. Just want to check in with you guys. I've got a few things that I want to share with you that I've been thinking about that I really believe can be encouraging during this time. And I felt it so strongly today, more so than I ever have. I felt it very strongly today. So I said, let me jump on here real quick and share this with you guys. Hey, hey, hey. All right. Yes. Pastor Fowler, yes, I am going to be praying today. And I'm also going to be talking about what's the next phase in the digital church. And so we're going to be doing that. So prayer is going to be tonight at 10, but I'm going to be doing a live before that for how to do digital church. So we're going to be talking about that as well. You are funny. I need a virtual shot. That's what we're going to really actually be talking about. Like how do we bring the indoor Sunday weekly experience online, because somebody needs a virtual shot. So come on in. As you guys come on, let me know at the end in the comments where you're streaming from. We're going to get started, but I want to encourage you today. So if you are a leader, it's time to check in. I'll say it again. If you are a leader, it's time to check in. All right, let's get this started today on the Leader to Leader chat with your host, Chanel Ramsay. All right, so we're on. Thank you guys for tuning in today. I have something that I feel very, very pressed to share with you guys. And this is something that many of you may have already been saying, but I believe that it needs to be said again. We're in the midst of a pandemic, and it's a global pandemic. We've been through personal pandemics, personal crises, but we've not experienced a global crisis the way we have now. And it is throwing a few of us off, okay? Let's just be honest. It's throwing a few of us off. This pandemic caught us unaware, caught us like we didn't see it coming. Some of us could say we sensed something coming, but we didn't necessarily see it coming. And so many of us was in a momentum. We was on the move. We were building. We were growing. We were doing something with our time and with our life that had to do with our future. We had a rhythm. We had a momentum. We had a flow. And when all of this happened, we came to a standstill. We came to a stop. But I want to encourage you today to not allow that stop, even though you may have stopped and you might experience that right now. Don't allow yourself to get stuck. You may have stopped, but don't allow yourself to get stuck. Okay. And so this is something that I want to share with you. God bless you. Evangelist Renee Nixon is on. Raquel is on. Bishop Fowler is on. Earl is on. Hey, Earl. But I don't want people to get stuck, right? There's a time in our lives and in our walk with God and in our ministry and in our leadership life that we have to take a step back, right? Things have to change and we have to begin to reevaluate. This pandemic has put many of us in the position of trying to reevaluate what's most important, right? We have to reprioritize now, right? We're looking to say, okay, what is important now, right? Do I really need this bill? Do I really need this? Now that my finances have shifted, now that I don't have the same financial streams coming in, I promise you that many of us are feeling that same pressure. But we have to realize that in this pandemic, we are in a pandemic, but we can't allow it to paralyze us. We can't allow it to paralyze us. And so I've been thinking about this. Hey, Mary, I've been thinking about this, and it's been coming across my mind a lot. And one of the things that I started to realize is that this is not the time to waste time. I'll say it again. This is not the time to waste time. There's going to be an overwhelming urge to waste time, right? It's going to be an overwhelm. You need to monitor how much time you are watching TV? How much time are you on social media? How much time are you doing things that is not productive to your future? See, one of the lies that will come as a result of a pandemic is that it's going to always be this way. Or because there's so many uncertainties, we don't know exactly when this is going to shift, when it's going to change. They're trying to reopen the state. They're trying to do different things, but we don't actually know exactly what's going to happen after this. And so sometimes it's an inclination, and many of us who are not drivers, right? We don't push through stuff. Many of us, for us to just kind of sit down and wait to see what happens. But I want to tell you, if you waiting to see what happens, you are in a place of wasting time. You have got to use your time wisely. I know it's easy to sit on the couch and you just watch Netflix. Like, you just go from the couch to the bed, the couch to the bed, the couch to the bed. That's all y'all do. And you watch TV, and we're doing Netflix and chill, and we got Redbox, and we got all these different things, and we're wasting precious time. God has given us an opportunity in this season. There are many things, if we're honest. Come on, leaders, talk to me. If we're honest, there are many things that was in our heart to do, but we kept saying we don't have the time. Right? We got our 9 to 5, so we don't have time. We got this going, and so we don't have time. We got to be here. We got to be there. All of these pulling. You ain't got to go nowhere now. You don't have to go nowhere. You're at home. You're quarantined. What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your time? This is your leader's check-in. I'm checking in with you, and this is the question on the floor. What are you doing with your time? I felt it so very strongly because I realized that sometimes chaos can cause a lot of confusion. So while the world is moving around and trying to figure things out and trying to recover and trying to move forward in their way, you can't allow that to confuse your purpose and confuse your focus. What are you doing with your time? Okay, so I wanted to say that to you guys to really get you to focus. Don't waste time in this season. There's a book you've always been wanting to write. There's a class you always wanted to take. There's a webinar you always wanted to watch. There's videos about how to do stuff that you always wanted to sit down and watch. How many saved videos you got in your Facebook watch list, or you got on your YouTube channel that you just been saving to sit down and watch? This is your time to engage those things, to unearth those gifts that's on the inside of you, to tap in to the fullness of what God has put on the inside of you. Don't waste your time. Don't waste it. Don't waste this moment. You've been handed a moment. You've been handed an opportunity. You got to see your problems as a platform for God to invade. You have to begin to change your perspective on the season that you're in. And so one of the things my friends and I, we started going through a conversation, and we just kept saying to ourselves, okay, we're here now. What's going on? You know, what else is there for us to really start to consider when it comes to our brand? You know, when it comes to this season that we're in, what are some of the things that we need to be considering? What are some of the things that we need to be talking about? And so we started talking about, how do we pave our way through this pandemic? How do we pave our way through this? And where do we want to be when this is over? And so I came up with 3 questions, 3 or 4 or 5 questions. You can, however it flows today, but questions that you need to be asking yourself while you are in this pandemic. Number 1, you need to determine who you want to be when this is over. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to show up as? Do you want to be the new guest on My 600-Pound Life? Is that who you want to be? Right? Because you're eating all this food constantly. Many of us are eating unhealthily. Why? Because we're inside. And all we have is food and TV and the cell phone and the laptop. We're not working out. Who do you want to be when this is over? What do you want to do with yourself when this is over? Hey, Randy. Hey, Maurice. Hey, Whitney. Thank you guys for joining me today. Who do you want to be? Okay. The next one is, who do you want around you when this is over? Many of us are seeing who our real friends are in this pandemic. Okay, you're seeing what does the church really care about my well-being? I haven't heard from them. Nobody reached out. There's no connection. But if I had an assignment, they would have been calling me. These are things that you got to start thinking about. You got to start thinking about. And then the next one is, how do you want to be when this is over? Do you want to walk out of this situation with anxiety? Do you want to walk out of this situation with fear? And I'll just tell you this. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Isaiah. I was on a conference call yesterday, and we were brainstorming. We were brainstorming this conference that we were planning for July that we now have to move because of the pandemic and everything. And we started thinking about locations, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this anxiety came over me. Like, wait a minute. Like, I don't want to be around. I don't want to get on a ride. Like, I don't want to go to Great Adventures. Like, did they clean those rides? How do we know they cleaned them? And I started thinking about all these different things, and I'm like, wow, how my mindset has changed, how my thoughts have changed, what I have ever considered, whether or not they cleaned a ride before I got on prior to this pandemic. So you're starting to think different. You got to monitor those thoughts, because thoughts become actions, right? Thoughts become strongholds. You got to monitor what you're allowing in your mind, what you're allowing to take precedence in your mind during this season. Okay. And the last one is determine where you want to be, right? Where do you want to be when this is over? Where do you want to be? Do you still want to be in the same city and state that you're living in? Do you want to move? Is it time for you to shift your spiritual location, right? Where do you want to be when this is over? And once you determine those things, then you can start making decisions today that will help you get that outcome on tomorrow. Okay, every single day, start to make those decisions. Why? Because you don't want to waste time. You don't want to waste time. You have been given an opportunity. You've been given an opportunity. Many people may not see it like that now and in this season, but you've been given an opportunity. So if you're a leader, I want you guys, hey, Anton, hi, guys. As you're coming on, how are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? If you're doing great and everything is well, praise to you, kudos to you. If you're a little rocky, you're kind of in between, some good days, some bad days, I get that. And we've all been there. And if you're in just the bad day phase, right, just know that weeping endures for a night, but joy does come in the morning. Where you are is not your final destination. God has more for you. So get back up. Get back up. Get focused again. Start rereading. Where did you leave off in your vision? What else is in you to accomplish during this season? What's that book you're supposed to write? What are you supposed to be working on? That's what you need to ask God. Where should my focus be in this season? What is it you would have me to do? He may just have you take one day a week where you just call people and encourage them, because he's not a God who wastes time. He's not a God who wastes time. So if he doesn't waste time, then we are his children. We shouldn't waste time. Okay. So this is something I want you guys to consider. I really felt very strongly about it, just to come on and encourage you. It's time for you to check in. Check in with yourself. How much time am I spending doing things that are not productive? Check in with yourself. Am I okay? How do I feel today? Is there something more that God wants me to pursue? Is there a webinar I could be on? Is there a Facebook Live I could be watching? Is there something else more that I could do that can get me to the future that I desire while I'm in this season? While we are in this season. So I just wanted to share that with you. I'm going to be coming on later tonight to just talk about digital church. I have a new resource that I want to share with you guys. For those of you who are doing digital church, right? Digital church is more than streaming on Sundays, and so we want to continue that conversation. So I'll be talking about that tonight, because there's a lot of questions surrounding how we do church now. They're trying to reopen the state in many different places by the end of the month, but everybody's not going back to church. Okay, everybody's not going back to church, and we need to talk about that. The new and the old, the going out of the old and the bringing in of the new. What does that look like for your church? And so we're going to have a good conversation. I got a new resource that I want to share with you guys. That's going to be tonight around 8 o'clock. And then we'll be praying around 10 p.m. And just seeking God together. It's Tuesday, y'all. Have a great day. Thank you for joining me. I hope you got something out of this chat. Be encouraged, stay lifted, and I'll see you later on.